Hi guys. Today we're going to be discussing the conduction system and the various conduction pathways that the electrical impulses travel throughout the heart. Okay? And we're just going to dive straight into it, and it's going to be a real quick crash course of information, very broad. The heart. Okay? The heart is a organ that pumps blood essentially throughout the body. It is made up of four chambers, two upper chambers, which are your atria, and your lower chambers, which are your ventricles. It's divided by a septum in the middle. The three layers of heart tissue, you have the endocardium, which is the innermost layer, the myocardium, which is that middle thick layer, and the pericardium, which is the outer layer that surrounds the entire heart. And essentially, the heart pumps blood throughout the body, and it provides the necessary nutrients through blood vessels to sustain and filter metabolic waste from the body. And there's a pulmonary circuit and a systematic circuit, but we're not going to get too much into the cardiovascular system. We're just going to stay on top of the surface as far as the conduction pathways. But I just also want you to know just a little bit brief history of how the heart works. And in the diagram here, you see we have the SA node. It shows you the bundle of His, shows you the Purkinje fibers, and it shows you the AV node. And we're just going to discuss and focus on those primary areas right there. And as you already know, the heart beats to its own drum. It does its own thing outside of the body, needless to say. And that's all the information I want you to know about the heart. And now we're just going to dive straight into the conduction system itself. The SA node is the dominant pacemaker inside the heart. It's located at the junction of the supravena cava and the right atrium. It sets the intrinsic rate for the heart between 60 and 100 beats per minute. It's kind of like the guy that starts the initial transaction of the electrical impulses throughout the heart. Next, we're going to discuss the AV node. The AV node is located in the floor of the right atrium, immediately behind the tricuspid valve and near the opening of the coronary sinus. It's a group of cells that slows the electrical impulses from the SA node before relaying them to the ventricles. And the AV node can also operate outside of itself. Let's say an electrical impulse can't start where it's supposed to at the SA node. There's certain disease processes and things that can happen to people to where the AV node will be the one that starts the initial electrical impulse as for the SA node. And all this node does is just relay the electrical impulse to the next part of the heart where the energy needs to go. Next, we're going to discuss the bundle of His. The bundle of His is a portion of the heart that's located in the upper portion of the interventricular septum, and it conducts electrical impulses from the AV junctions to the right and left bundle branches. And it pretty much is another relay system that not necessarily grabs, but allows the electrical impulse to travel from the SA node, from the AV node, to the bundle of His, to where it can get down deeper into the heart's tissue there. And it leads it to send that impulse to the next relay station. The last and final section of the electrical impulse as it's traveling through the heart stops at the Purkinje fibers. The Purkinje fibers are an organized network of cardiac muscle fibers, and they distribute throughout the inner surfaces of the ventricular walls, and they conduct different excitation impulses from the bundle branches to the ventricular myocardium. And this is where the intrinsic rate can also fall between 20 and 40 beats per minute, and the Purkinje fibers kind of finish out the last little bit spaces of the heart that need to get the electrical impulse. And now to summarize, the conduction system is just a network of different cardiac tissues that initiates and conducts various electrical impulses through these pacemaker cells, known as the SA node, the different conduction pathways, the AV node, the bundle of His, and the Purkinje fibers. The tissues within the heart use the electrical activity, and at any given time, it can set the pace for cardiac contraction. To give you a little bit of a sense how fast this goes on, this happens about 0.08 seconds. That's how fast that this electrical impulse spreads across the entire heart continuously. So if one thing knocks it off, the heart doesn't operate right, and then it needs to be kind of reset to get back in line. And so I hope you guys learned something today over just a brief discussion we had about the entire conduction system. There's a little bit more that goes more in depth, but I just wanted to scratch the surface to kind of get you guys thinking in the right direction as far as where the conduction system kind of starts, where it ends, and pretty much what it's doing. It's pretty much moving the electrical activity through the heart to make the heart work and make the heart pump. And if we can't do those things, then the heart's no good, it doesn't work. There's additional secondary pacemakers and other accessories to the conduction pathways, but I'm not going to dive too much into those. I just wanted you guys to get the overall view of what I was trying to discuss and to convey. And thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in class.